what I love about it is just the creative process, the building process, and getting to that end point where you're like, I made this. Like we had nothing to start with, and I solved this puzzle, and I have this beautiful thing to show for it. So I love that part of it.
WordPress and Lego, what do they have in common? A lot, we think. So today we're diving into the world of creativity and community with Kelly Bartlett, professional Lego artist who's turned her childhood passion into a thriving career. From commissioned Lego builds to starring in Lego Masters, the reality TV show, Kelly's journey is all about embracing creativity and collaboration. We at A2 have partnered with her to create an incredible Lego concept car and some other elements for our sponsorship booth at WordCamp US 2024. This concept car we're going to be talking about in this episode that embodies speed, performance, customization, what we do at A2. She's helped our dreams, our messaging, what we're trying to communicate come alive, and you're going to get to see that very soon at WordCamp US in Portland. Kelly shares how this project has been a massive collaborative effort, sourcing over 50,000 Lego pieces from around the world. Plus, at the event, teens are going to get to build their own Lego minifigs in a fun, hands-on experience that captures the spirit of creativity and this intersection of Lego and WordPress and building. So don't miss a chance to meet Kelly at our booth and see her amazing work in person. But I want to tell you what this episode is really about. It's remembering the passion of building and creating. And you're going to hear that in Kelly's story and journey. And that's why we brought this episode to you today. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the A2 show. I've got a really special guest today, not on our normal topical list, although there's so many parallels and to the guest I have on today. I got to meet her several months ago in preparation for our WordCamp US sponsorship or booth. We had this thought, what if we engaged a Lego master builder? And then we did a Google search and found Kelly Bartlett. And so we're going to be talking today just about that whole experience. There's so many parallels as Kelly and I have worked together in our team with her to a WordPress web designer, a WordPress agency, to her work. And so part of this is us geeking out about Lego. But Kelly Bartlett, welcome to the A2 show. And I can't wait to dig in. But could you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Hi, Cory. Thank you for having me today. This has been a ton of fun. So I'm a Lego artist. I make commissioned work for anyone who wants a customized Lego design that you can't buy in the store, and I work with them and make it. And so it's been kind of a journey for me to get to this point. So I tell people I am a professional Lego builder, and kids love that. They think I have the best job in the world.
Adults too.
Yeah.
Because I think there's me, I'm going to raise my hand and go, I'm jealous, but to be, there's Legos in my background. You're in your studio workshop. But I think that's fantastic. As we've been working with you, it's like, wow, this is kind of magical. You've got to do something that's awesome. And now I know too, you're on Lego Masters, and I think it was season 4. Mm-hmm. My family watches Lego Masters religiously. So I've been telling them, bragging to my kids, I'm working with one of the Lego Masters. But I want to start first. We'll get to Lego Masters in just a second. But how did you get started in Lego?
Yeah, so I got into it when a lot of people get into it, which is when they're kids. I grew up with it, and my brother and I had our Lego sets that we would play together all the time. And then I kind of got out of it when I was in high school, college, early career days, but it wasn't until my own kids were into their own Lego sets when they were small, and I got back into it because I helped them build their sets, and I realized how far the pieces had come from when I was a kid, because the sets I had they're all very blocky. I never felt like I could make really cool creations with them. So I learned through my kids' Lego building that there's all kinds of new pieces. And so I got back into it as an adult, and I've been building I've been building my whole life. Yeah.
That is fantastic. Okay. So there's a point, and I'm curious because I've mentioned to you WordPress agencies, WordPress web pros, a lot of us started kind of like you did. enjoying it, enjoying the passion of the technical part, the building part of websites, and back to Lego. But there was a conversion point. When did you go pro? And what was the story around that?
Yeah, I never really intended to go pro with it because, like you say, you just kind of start off doing this thing that you like. I was just building things that I liked. I built sets from the store where I followed the directions and built it. Then I started making my own things without directions, which are called mocks. It means my own creation. And that was a whole different, like, used a whole creative side of my brain that I liked. But I just kept doing it because I just liked it. It was just fun, and I just like to build stuff. And the platform I was on was I'm on social media, so I was posting on social media the things I was building just for friends and family. Nothing crazy. I was like, here's something I made today, and I just share it. But it sort of grew from there, where I never intended to make a career out of it. It was just a fun hobby. And then eventually, the things I was sharing got attention from, the Lego Masters casting agents. They noticed and they said, "Would you be interested in auditioning for Lego Masters?" And that went down a whole other pathway. And it just kind of snowballed, and so it went from a hobby to gradually becoming a slightly more pro until somebody started actually wanted to pay me to make something. The very first commission that I had was just a small Lego build, and they said, "I'll pay you. Can you make this?" And so I started with small commissions, and then it just sort of grew. And I bet that's the same story that you hear, from a lot of people too.
It's so similar.
Mm-hmm.
I can't count. It's my story. It's so many people on WordPress that I've heard over and over. It's doing something you enjoy and others taking notice of it and going, can I pay you? That was my first experience. I started out as a freelance, just doing freelance by mistake, doing what is called WordPress themes. Someone was like, hit my contact form. Will you do something for me? And that's a magical moment. I'm sure you remember back when it was the first time someone goes, here is money.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is magical. And it's a good way to say it because I was like, oh, you want to pay me to do this? Something I already enjoy doing? That's amazing.
Now, did the moment, okay, so going pro, was that before Lego Masters, after, during?
Yes, it was a little bit before Lego Masters. So I had done a couple of small commissions for pay, and then I had done Lego Masters just after that. And so after doing the show, my commission requests just went sky high. So the show just sort of elevated my platform to another level. But yeah, I had started slightly, but just before Lego Masters.
Okay. Yep. There's so many people, Kelly, you know this probably already, but are going to be like, wow, she did in Lego. We do it in WordPress. But that is fantastic. Okay. Before I get to Lego Masters, I'm ready to get there, but tell me all that you do. I know commissions because A2 Hosting has commissioned you, our awesome Lego builder and collaborator, to do this, but what all do you do and offer?
Yeah, so commissions are, the main way that I like, that's how I make my living. That's how I bring in money. But I will also do speaking engagements. So I've been traveling around, and I've done some keynote speeches. I travel around the States talking to a lot of groups of kids, of students. I talk to families at libraries. I do presentations on Lego building and Lego Masters specifically. But then if I'm not working on a commission, I'm usually always working on some Lego model just for fun, just for me, because it's fun and I love it. So if I currently don't have a commission to work on, you'll find me in my Lego room just building something just for fun. And then I'll end up taking those to shows and conventions and I'll show them, which is not, I don't get any money from that. It's just for fun. It's just all the Lego builders in the country do that. We take our builds to shows and show them off. Just because it's a hobby that we enjoy. So I'll do that in between commission projects.
That is so awesome because, how long have you been doing this as a business?
Just a couple of years, really, maybe 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because so often, the cliche is that if you turn hobby into work, it doesn't become fun anymore, but it's so cool to hear you still find joy in it. It's still, when you're doing it for yourself, that's the hobby side. You're not getting paid.
Yes.
But you still find enjoyment and fulfillment through it.
Yes, exactly. For sure. And I have always said, like, I want to do this because it is fun. And if it ever doesn't become fun, I'm not going to do it anymore. And so far, it's not ever not been fun. I love it.
Yeah. That's outstanding. Okay. So here's a question that I just thought of though is, turning a hobby and art, because I think you're an artist,
Mhm.
into business and what you've learned the last couple of years. I'm curious what stands out, because while you're thinking about that, so many business people I know stumbled into business, started something very similar to what you're talking about, and
Mhm.
then woke up one day and goes, "Oh gosh, I've got these set of responsibilities that weren't under this passion." But
Mhm.
I'm curious, what things have you learned or insights the last couple of years you've done this, turned in, a great, amazing hobby, your craft, into a business? Anything stand out there?
Yeah, it's been interesting to figure out the balance of the creative side of the work versus the like the logistics, the business end, So to manage a business, you've got to do your finances and you have to stay organized, and it's all the logistics stuff, which is really not, it's not why I got into it. It's probably not why anyone gets into it, because they
Yes.
love what they're doing. Like, I love creating things. I love building things. So I love that artsy creative side where I can just kind of let my imagination go and have fun with it. And then to balance that out, I'm like, okay, so if I'm going to make a business out of this, I've got to, be smart about that. Manage the business, take care of the finances. And that's not stuff that I ever, I thought, you think about going into business doing something that you love, you don't think about that. You just think about doing what you love, but you're like, oh yeah, I got to balance it with all this. So that's been a journey for me to learn how to manage my business instead of, as opposed to just being the creator. That's great, but since I'm the only one doing this, I don't have anyone else working for me. I don't have an assistant or a manager. Like, I have to do all that too. So that's a learning curve for me to figure out.
I've been an entrepreneur for about 17 years now, and I definitely didn't sign up to um, do financials
Yeah.
and invoices. Those aren't the
Yeah.
fun things, but
Yes.
it's the stuff business people like us have to do.
Yes.
Um, so I totally get that, and that's the tax of it all, I think.
Mhm.
But that's great. What do you find most fulfilling about what you do?
For me, it's the process of building that I love so much. It's that creative process. And I with every new project that I get, I just can't wait to dive in and figure out this problem. I always tell people that Lego building is like a puzzle. It's if you go buy a set from the store and it comes with directions, it's still a puzzle, but you follow the directions to get to the solution. If you don't buy stuff from the store and you're creating something out of your own imagination, you're creating a puzzle that you then need to solve. And for me, that's what's most fulfilling. I love the process of it. I just like to build things, and I don't even care what it is. Like, some Lego artists that I know sort of have a niche that they fit into, where they love to make certain types of art. Like, they're really good at huge mosaics, or they're really good at sculptures, or they're really good at castles. They have some kind of niche that they like to build. And for me, it's the process of building in general that I love it, and I don't even care what I build. So my work is really varied because of that. So I do art for the walls, and I do sculptures, and I do, a model of a store or something, just all kinds of stuff. So what I love about it is just the creative process, the building process, and getting to that end point where you're like, I made this. Like, we had nothing to start with, and I solved this puzzle, and I have this beautiful thing to show for it. So I love that part of it.
I think that's such a amazing reminder for those of us watching who have forgotten that magical part of creating the
Mhm.
the process. And when you said all that, it's just always confirming why you were the right person to work with. But I remember thinking, seeing your Instagram, seeing the work you've done, going, is she going to want to be interested? And you've been 100% in
Yeah.
and invested in it, and it shows for what you just said. I'll say
Yeah.
that that's my testimonial for your work. That the joy of the process.
Yeah.
I think that's I compare it back to when I created my first WordPress theme, and that was fun.
Mhm.
Putting something together, zipping it up, putting it on the WordPress repo. These are all geek terms in WordPress, but
Mhm.
the central place people go and download, and having people download it. And it
Yeah.
was just fun.
Yes.
And that brought that memory back up for me. And I know those of us that are listening to today can go, I remember the first spark when I created my first website
Yes.
in WordPress or whatever.
And you're so proud. You're like, I made that. There's some pride there.
I think over time it's hard. It's hard. This last season of time for me has been this reflection of, when did it stop being fun And that's why I ultimately came over to A2 is
Mhm.
I just wanted to do certain parts that were fun again, but rekindling that fun and hearing your stories really, really helps a ton with
Mhm.
that. So,
Yeah.
well, okay. So I've been given these parallels that are so similar. WordPress, an open source software, powers over 40% of the internet. In fact, you may know this, Kelly, but we might have just as an aside mentioned it. But like one of the big ones that just got launched last year was NASA on WordPress, their entire site.
Yeah.
And we know the agency that did that work, and it was just incredible. But
Yeah.
the parallels with Lego and WordPress
Mhm.
are just so fun. And I know your story is going to rekindle some of those fond memories for those of us that done WordPress for a while. Um, but you kind of know now, in on our meetings that we've had as we've worked on the different parts of our booth and things, I'll say, does this resonate with you? And you articulate back and go, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
that's good. But I just wanted to, with what you know and about Lego, and throw that out there that the parallels between WordPress, obviously Lego is not open source. You have to pay for the bricks, you have to build it, but there's so many similarities to me.
Mhm.
Community,
Mhm.
TV shows,
Mhm.
movies, all that. In our own way, we've had that in WordPress, but I'm just kind of curious. You learned enough, and I don't expect you to be a WordPress or web design expert at all. But what comes up for you when I say WordPress and Lego?
Yeah, well, I think, and again, I'm not a WordPress expert, but what I've picked up is that there's kind of a sense of community among the whole, like everyone who uses WordPress, and there's the same thing for everyone who creates something with Lego bricks. Is there's this community, and everybody is sort of there for each other and helping each other and collaborating together. And I feel like that's probably a similar theme with the WordPress, the work that you guys do, because there's just like you can get input from so many people and so many you can have so many collaborators on a project just to help each other and just make that project better. So that's what comes to my mind.
When you talk about Lego, I feel like you could show up at WordCamp US, which you are. You're going to be there the first
Mhm.
day, sign some autographs.
Yes.
Our team is going to be first in line, by the way. But when you said community, you could replace Lego with WordPress.
Mhm.
And the thing we hear over and over from WordPress, and sounds like Lego too, is there's not a adversarial competitive thing. There's competition for sure, but it's support.
Mhm.
It's, hey, I benefited from this, and that community aspect is really special with WordPress. So the way you just shared about Lego could equally substitute the word for WordPress. It's one of the things I think has been so special about the software is not the code, it's the people.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to hear that Lego has that. And I know through our work together, you're a big collaborator too.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I know that there's a large community of Lego enthusiasts out there. Some pro builders like me, and some not. They're just hobbyists, but everybody has some base of knowledge that they're coming from, their background that they're coming from. So if I ever need help with a project or just some ideas, I'm stuck on something and I can't figure out what direction I want to go, I know there's a community out there that I can throw my ideas out and I will get tons of support back from it.
And I think the commonality here too is the building, creating, we call it publishing in WordPress, but that creating process is really, really a magical part of that. And why, paired with our free software, WordPress, to be able to build something, create something, as you said over and over. And
Hmm.
then that special feeling you get when you go, I like to get back and support.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you were on Lego Masters. I
Yeah.
am talking to a celebrity here. My kids are going to be geeking out because I keep telling them about you. Now they're going to get to see our recording together. But how was the Lego Masters experience?
Oh my gosh, it was so crazy. It was stressful. It was very challenging and also fun. It was fun. I always lead with stressful and really difficult. Like it just really was. It took my Lego hobby out of my room where I'm normally building and just creating by myself and just intensified it by 100 or 1,000. I don't know. It's just it adds this level of stress. But it was so fun because we got to do challenges on the show. Like you've seen the show, you do things on the show that I would never do at home. The way you build things, they make things explode. They use lava in a volcano, like fun stuff that I would never have the resources to do. So I was really excited to be able to go on the show and try these crazy things that I would otherwise never get to build.
That I can't imagine. Number one is there's a deadline.
Yeah.
Number two, the crazy things that are put out to you all and doing it in tandem. I can't fathom. So that whole experience does very similar in some ways to website projects.
I'm sure. Yeah. The pressure that's on you and the deadlines, like you say, I mean, on the show, we had this clock ticking down, which added a ton of pressure. You don't have that in your daily life. But I still, even as a off camera and when I hear building, I still have deadlines I have to meet. But on the show, when you have 10 hours and you just watch that clock ticking down, it's so much more stressful.
Do you forget the cameras are there?
I don't think I ever forgot the cameras were there. You just kind of get used to it. They're all over. You just watching the show at home, you never see how many cameras are there. I want to say like 15 all around all day. I mean, like they're getting shots of everybody from every angle because I mean, just in case anybody's creation crumbles apart, they want to make sure they get that on camera. So they're always on you. So now I never forget. You just get used to it after a while.
Yeah. Well, congratulations again for your work and being on the show and doing everything you're doing. It's really incredible. Well, let's turn our attention to the work we've been doing together from A2 hosting to you, which is we commissioned you. We're sponsoring an event called WordCamp US that you well know now. You probably have it memorized in your hometown, which we're getting a local favorite with you, and then what all you do. But just want to talk for a second. We came to you with ideas that have shifted, shaped, evolved over time, but it was essentially, let's blow it out. Mm-hmm. And we probably came to you with 15 ideas and you're like, which one is your favorite? Which one is your best? Yes. But what we collaboratively together landed on was a big Lego car that it's inspired by certain brands and elements, but I think it's more in the Kelly variety. Okay, this is the magic with our vision. But can you talk about, we've been calling it internally the concept car.
Yes.
But can you talk about that and the process to model it and all the things that you do behind the scenes that I probably don't even know about?
Yeah, probably not. I don't know if anyone truly knows what goes into making a huge Lego model like you see. Like sometimes you see it's quite a process. It takes a long time. I'm really excited when you came to me with this concept for your booth. I just thought it was such a good idea. First of all, to have Lego models in your booth, because I don't know if there's any better draw to get people to come see. Like everyone loves Lego. Who doesn't love Lego? Like they're going to see Lego models in your booth and just be drawn to come over and see what they are. See, why do you have these? Like what's going on? What's your story? So I loved the story that you came up with. The fact that we're basing this car off of A2 as a model of, like what you call your concept car. It's your concept for A2 is that it's this powerhouse of speed and performance, but on the same time you've got all these options for customizing on the inside of what you can do at the controls. So if someone is the driver of this car, what are their options? And there's so many things. So I love it. Like it's going to be this great big car in the center of your booth, the centerpiece. I call it, in my head, I call it the showstopper. Like this is your showstopper. It's bright and bold. It's very sleek looking. I have had so much fun working on this, and it's not done, but it's getting there. And I'm every step of the way. I'm so excited, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
You've embedded it. You really, from the client perspective and collaborate, really owned it all and know it. Just hearing it back, I go, great clip. Thank you for doing my job for me. But there's other elements, but I want to start first with the concept car. Mm-hmm. I know we were like showstopper, big thing, centerpiece thing, and our deal was some kind of car. We worked on this. I think it was weeks, Kelly. And I'm sorry
Mhm.
again. We were trying to figure
No.
out, nail it
Yeah, we had to
down.
get there together. Like you
We
had
did.
ideas, and I'm trying to figure out your perspective. And it was a collaboration. So there has to be plenty of back and forth. So it's great.
Yeah. And we landed on inspired by a McLaren vehicle. I think it was the Elva,
Elva.
with some unique A2 things that only Kelly Bartlett could do. It was into the process where I I should have asked, what's your specialty? And then I should have seen it. It's the detail. I'm really excited about that. But we put the car out. You came back with some thoughts. I think there was some sketches or something initially. What happened from there? How did you do it? And you mentioned collaborations. It's a core value of ours. We live at A2. We're doing with you. I'm so glad we found someone that is a mutual collaborator. Tell me about that process. So we finally got to it. This is
Yep.
what it would be.
Yes.
And then you did some other stuff in between.
Yes, so I did show you some sketches, very bad sketches because I'm not a sketch artist, but it helped us get on the same page. And once I knew what this car was going to have to be, how big it was going to have to be to look like, I knew that I would need some help with this. So again, going back to this community that we have, is I reached out to some colleagues of mine saying, you have experience doing this. I've got this project in front of me. Can we collaborate on this? So I reached out and kind of put together a small team to help me do this. So we're all kind of working on this together. Builders, designers, to give you the car, that you want, that shares the vision that you want, that looks good, that is structurally sound. So I pulled in some people who I knew could help me do that. And one of them he's a master model builder at Legoland. So he designs the big models that you see in the parks. And plus he's a car lover. Like he loves cars in general. So I wanted his help for creating this model. And just knowing that he loved cars in general, I knew he would be a good choice for it. So he and I worked on the design of that. He was a really big help with that. So he kind of was structural or integral on creating this design. And then I had some builders help me because it is over 20,000 pieces in this model. So we needed to get going on it. So having some extra hands building it was going to be good too.
I'm laughing because I can imagine, from our WordPress work, client says, I want this. And you're like, they don't know all the things. And I just had that experience in reverse. Because when you said 20,000 bricks, I had forgot that number, but that's a lot. And you've been documenting the process. You're going to be sharing along the way, but it's what, 4.5 feet?
Yep, it's just over 4 feet long, 20,000 pieces. And then when it's done, it'll weigh about 70 pounds.
70 pounds. Okay. I was guessing like 200. I had no concept of what that many bricks all together.
Yeah.
It's a sturdy thing. And I've seen some of the preview shots as you've been building. But okay. So model, you went to some software and help lay out what it would be.
Yes. So the designer I'm working with has expertise in this area. So he really helped lay it out all in the software first, which gave us a good idea of the piece count, what pieces we'd need. So what we would need to order, and then how to build it layer by layer, basically. So we have it designed in software first, and now we're building it for real.
There's so much. I think one of the things I've gleaned working with you is that detail is your specialty. You're a great builder in all things, but detail. And I know I just saw the concept car you sent yesterday, I think, or the current iteration of it.
Yes.
And I was like, I wondered how she's going to do those wheels.
Yeah.
But you made it work. Yeah.
The wheels are awesome. It's one of my favorite parts. It's those details that I love. And did you notice that we got the little A2 logo on each wheel too?
No, I did not. Now I have to look at
zoom in on that.
Well, if you're listening, you're going to have to take your time around the car, because we will. Because those type of things, I knew you're doing it. We call them Easter eggs kind of in web world and software. But those kind of things, we really together, our unified vision for this was be able to not just look, oh my God, that's a lot of Legos, but look in a little bit and see the detailed piece as you go around the car, even inside the cockpit and different things.
Yes. It will invite you in. And I think this was your idea too, is to have it be visible, have the interior be visible. Because when we first started talking about concepts, We talked about maybe having it a full car, with the roof, blacked out windows, so it looked, sleek and awesome. But then you couldn't see anything on the inside. And the idea of opening it up. So this car that we have is not a convertible. It just is an open top 2-seater sports car, which is what the McLaren Elva looks like. But that way you can see in, you can see the details on the dashboard, the seats, the engine in the back. It's going to invite you in. That's the best I can say.
The moment where I just forgot to ask or looking, going, oh, details are your thing, was when we were talking about Turbo Hub, which is your main product for WordPress. And we were talking about the dashboard. And I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be good. Talking through it with you and your thoughts about it. That's the part I think amongst the others, I don't even know yet, but that people are going to want to stop and look in. And we've really, truly taken web work with you and convert it into something you can touch and feel.
Yeah.
Which is not what we do in WordPress. Yeah. It's all it's all digital. It's not something you actually hold. But I love this artistic expression of that.
Yeah, I love it too. It's just a great concept, taking something, like you say, that is not tangible and making it tangible.
So that's concept car. You got to come to WordCamp US. You got to see what Kelly's done. But there's two more elements that I think of with our work with you. And overall, we've gotten your ideas, your inspiration, your insight into the other collaborating elements of it. But there's two other things. One is the wall art. And I know this was your idea because you're like, hey, we could do this thing. And I don't want to spoil it. I want you to share it. But there's this moment. What else are we going to do? We wanted to get the concept car good. That took us weeks. Our side, not your side. But then we're like, what's next? And you mentioned this, the things that'll go on the wall. I'll let you share that a little bit.
Yes. So we have, in addition to this big centerpiece car, which will draw you into the booth for sure, we will have on the wall 4 different pieces of art, which each has a different Lego supercar model on it. So it's going to be mounted vertically on this. I call it a canvas because that's what I think of as wall art, but it's a Lego canvas. So the car is going to be mounted on the canvas, 3-dimensional. You can walk up and look at it straight on, or you can turn to the side and see the car. But yeah, so they will be, I think they're about 3 feet by 4 feet. Maybe it's 2 by 3. I got to measure it again.
It's big.
It's large. Yeah.
It's large.
4 large car art to hang on the wall, which will be bright, bold colors. It's going to just add to the whole color scheme of the booth. It's going to look great.
We gave you thoughts, very rough thoughts. And when I've seen the latest iterations of the wall art, I was like, wow, that's a touch that you've done to it. Okay, splashes of color, the logo. Oh gosh, if we haven't affirmed you by now, we need to. We're going to send, I was talking with one of our team members who you've worked with, Kate and Katie, the 2 Katies, and been like, we need to send flowers to both of those. And we also need to send them to you to thank you. But I think people are going to be wild because we were. And we just seen them in photos. So seeing this big things on the walls is super cool.
In person, you're going to love it. It's very impactful. I look at them every day because they're all around my studio. But I can't wait for you to see everything in person, the wall art, but also the concept car.
So we're giving away 3 of those. We've reserved one for our CEO and founder, Brian Mutig. And I told him just this morning, I was meeting with him. I said, you're going to get your pick. He goes, I don't know which one. I said, don't worry. You'll get first pick. You get the color you want of this, but I think he's going to be blown away. And I showed him some of the pictures you sent.
Oh, that's great.
So that's the wall art. And there's graphics we're working on too. We need to show you that, by the way. Yes. The third piece, though, that you've worked with us is minifigs. Yay. There's a take-home value. We're like, we'll talk about what we're going to do with the concept car in a second. But the third element is our guests from WordCamp US will be able to come into our booth and create their own custom drivers as Lego minifigs. And can you talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah, I love it. I'm so excited for everyone to be able to do this. So we have a variety of minifigs that everyone can customize their own with legs, torsos, hair, and head faces. You create your own figure. whether it looks like you. I guess I was thinking everyone would kind of make their own self, but it could be anyone. You just make your own driver, whatever you want to look like. And then we've got a ton of accessories just for fun. So you can give your minifig a fun hat, a fun accessory. We have swords, we have axes, we have ninja shurikens, we have cameras. If you're a photographer, all kinds of hobbies that you can think of. You can put a little accessory in your minifig's hand, and then you get a little platform to put them on. It will be magnetized and stick as a magnet on your shirt, so you can actually wear your minifig around the convention and take it home and use it as a magnet when you get home.
That was all your idea. We threw in the random thing. I think we were at some point, what if we just buy some random things from like eBay or something?
Yep.
That this is all yours. And so like throw something in. If you can be probably just as much as Lego and WordPress, you can be as unique and quirky as you want.
Yes.
Your minifig's going to have those opportunities with some of the just those things.
Yep.
Okay. And then wearing them. And you don't know this, Kelly, but where that maps to WordPress is there's a thing called Gravatar, and it's when you post anything in WordPress, your profile pic will show up. Like WordPress is historically blogging software, and this is like a legatar or something. I don't know what you would call it, but your thing with being able to wear it, we're like, yes. We want to see the most creative avatars, legatars, whatever we call it. But the Gravatar is an online thing, but now you can do it in person and material with a Lego. Yeah. So if you're hearing this coming, you better be thinking, who am I in Lego? Because you're going to want to do that yourself. So that's awesome. I didn't even know. And I want to ask this too, just geeking out for a second. When we were thinking about the minifigs, you were our guide through all of it, but you're like, these things are probably standard. Could you share some of those things that were standard? Is it the body, the legs, the head? Those are standard elements.
Yes. So doing the minifigs was difficult because there's so many options you can have for minifig torsos, but we got a variety of leg colors, like whatever color pants you want. There's just some basic colors. And then same for the tops, the torsos. And we picked items that were available through Lego right now. Sometimes they're not available for about 6 weeks or so, and it takes a long time to get them in. So we kind of picked some patterns that were available currently. But then we got a lot of different face patterns and a lot of different hairstyles and colors. So there should be a good variety in there for people to pick from.
See, those are things I hadn't even thought of, and how would you even go about ordering that when you came back? Okay, it's this. And then we threw in the bag of random parts kind of thing. But that was really neat to go through that process too.
Yes, it was fun. And that gets me back to your point of how I manage the business of this creative endeavor that I'm in. Is like, for me, it's balancing the creative side of it versus the business and the logistics side of it. And this was a perfect example. Is like, when you get a big order like this, okay, we need to order thousands of minifig parts in different colors. How do we manage an order like this? So this was a good lesson for me. It was a good lesson in project management to get this done, because I ended up ordering, here's a fun fact for you, based on all of the Lego elements that we're doing for your booth. We have over 50,000 Lego pieces that were sourced from over 30 different sellers in 7 countries around the world.
My gosh. 7 countries. Oh my.
That was a project just to get parts ordered. Yes.
Wow. I knew, 20, but then we've got, with all the other things, 50,000 Legos.
So it was between the concept car, the hanging car wall art, and then the minifig, build it your own minifigs, was over 50,000 pieces. And so, and they can't all come from one source. So I had to order them from over 30 different sources and 7 countries. Most were from the United States, but I had to go to like 6 other countries to get certain parts that I couldn't get in this country.
Oh my gosh. We do. Kate and I, we do an A2 do OU flowers because golly, I had no idea.
It's huge. I mean, when you do a project this big, and like I say, sometimes I do commissions that are, it's just a small thing. And and there isn't this much parts ordering, but for you, and I'm genuinely excited. Like, this is going to be really fun. And it was a very fun project for me to work on. It was just a matter of balancing, like I said, the creative side with the getting those parts ordered.
Well, that is a great segue. You're going to be with us first day. We're going to have fun. Awesome being in your work. I'm really excited, but I'm curious. We're all excited over here. What are you most excited about? WordCamp
I'm so
US.
excited. Yeah, I've been thinking about this because I've not been to this convention, but I spent all this time working on these Lego models. I am super excited to mostly just share them with everyone, to have you see them, to have the public see them, everybody come look at it. Because I don't know anyone who doesn't like Lego building, even if you don't consider yourself a Lego hobbyist. Lego art is special. Like, you just notice it. You want to look at it. And I want people to come and look at all these details of the car. I want them to come look at the cool hanging car art. I'm getting excited about seeing people build their own minifigs. So it's kind of like when you watch your kids open presents on Christmas morning and you don't care, like, you're genuinely having fun watching them open their presents. I'm genuinely excited to see people build their own minifigs just because I know how fun it is. So I'm excited for the sharing of this art that we've been created. And I'm excited for the community that I will be meeting at WordCamp to talk Lego with people, to meet Lego fans, talk about Lego Masters, but just Lego in general. It's just like, I can't wait to meet everyone who also loves Lego like I do, and then see them have so much fun with their minifig and what they think of the car. So it's really just about community and engagement that I'm most excited about.
That's fantastic. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna have some stories for sure. I can guarantee you that with WordPress, and that we've got a Lego Master Builder at a WordPress event. It's going to be pretty fun. And we've already talked about this. This isn't a surprise to you, but we know your current website isn't on WordPress. We would love to at some point with A2 hosting to get you onto WordPress because you have truly, Kelly, our team would say this, you're going to hear it in person with our 15 or 16 people we have there, is helped us take what we're trying to do and translate materially something you can touch into this really fabulous art that you've done. And we'd like at some point to help you as well.
I would love that so much. My website right now is bare bones. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just something that is to let people communicate with me. So it's really just, here's some examples of my work and here's an email you can email me, and that's it. And I wish it was so much better. So I appreciate that. I could definitely use some help.
Your website's great and it does the job because we got to come and work with you.
Yeah.
So Kelly, 2 quick questions. What are you most excited about next? Not WordPress, whatever you're doing, what's next on yours that you're excited about?
Yeah, so I have a few more opportunities coming up this fall that I'm excited about. Some commissions, some appearances that I'm doing. So it's all Lego related. It's just really fun to see where this career is taking me. I never thought I would be doing this. I never thought I would be building Lego models for a living. And then speaking about it, doing meet and greets is really fun. So I've got some events coming up that I'm looking forward to and just kind of seeing where this road takes me.
And that leads to, I know they can keep up with you on Instagram, but could you share a little bit about how to get a hold of you? Someone's listening out there goes, oh, I got to have Kelly doing my work, commissioned projects and different things, or speaking. That's something else you do.
Yes.
How can they find you?
I can be reached through my Instagram is where I'm most active on social media. I have Facebook, but Instagram is where I post regularly. So anyone can message me through my Instagram account, which is Kelly Bartlett 31. But I do have a website. It's Kelly Bartlett Brick Design. And so you can contact me through the email on that website to and get in touch with me. But I do message you back. If you message me on social media, I do respond.
Yes, this is our glowing client testimonial. You've been amazing to work with. Your art is so fantastic. You truly are, I think of you, obviously as an artist, but more so collaborator too. And that's been really, really fun. You've gotten us from the beginning and we're excited to unveil your work. But thank you for the collaboration. Thank you for the time today. If you have something in mind, ping Kelly. She is fantastic. But thank you, Kelly, for being on today and doing this work with her booth, and can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you so much. It's been so fun. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks too.